Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Core. May I ask you to collapse the thing is on the top right and top left? That will definitely be helpful out here.
Yeah, this would be a good time to do that before it actually really starts.
Okay,
there
you go.
This game goes longer than 1 minute 40, folks.
Oh, poggers, I would have never thought about that. With that being said, I guess this is a good place to just give a perfect place for Pesty to cut the video for YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 3 between MarineLorD and PuppyPaw in the grand finals of the second weekendly event of Road to Red Bull Wololo. PuppyPaw up 2 games versus MarineLorD, as MarineLorD is gonna have the English in blue and PuppyPaw the Chinese in red.
Oh baby, let's get to it. PuppyPaw, Chinese, and MarineLorD playing as the English. Now, I think the last time I can recall watching these two face off here on Altai, it was a Delhi Chinese matchup that became incredibly clutch around the sacred sites. Wonder if we could get the same treat. So far, this series has definitely delivered on that level of amazement. And I'm excited to see what PuppyPaw's got in mind, because so far in this series, what have we seen, Lidakor? We've seen aggression, aggression, aggression. Maybe a little bit later in the game, but always playing for this kind of gambit type play. I want to see what PuppyPaw has in mind when he wields the Chinese.
That's a great point that you bring up, actually. Like, PuppyPaw, he's a decent late-game player, but from what we have seen in this set, he doesn't want to play long games. He wants to play these short, very aggressive games out there, so aggressive that it's even able to overwhelm MarineLorD, who himself is one of the best aggressive players in the entire game. This being said, as you said, it's possible that the Chinese, it's not going to be the casual wall up and just play 7 town centers boom into crazy, super powerful bombards type of strategy, but something more aggressive. Maybe even a Barbican rush could be on the menu here, because if you think about that, the English, especially if they play with farms, their feudal age will be delayed. It's going to be a slower paced approach, something that you could easily exploit with the Chinese and a very aggressive Barbican placement.
Also, keep in mind where you could put a Barbican here. If he drops it to the left of the gold vein, he could actually block out 1.5 wood lines and the gold and force MarineLorD to go ahead of his base to try and get his hands of gold. That could be very dangerous.
There is the backup gold. MarineLorD's backup gold is very much on the front.
Yeah, so like what you do if you're PuppyPaw, and you can do this really well because you build faster, you get the Barbican down and then you fall back to drop an outpost on that gold vein, and then MarineLorD is hard stuck. I think the only way that this could have been better, like at first when I was glancing, I didn't check the colors. Originally I was like, then I realized, but I still like this train of thought, is if the gold veins have been reversed, if the spawn points have been reversed, it's even easier to Barbican rush, because if you look at PuppyPaw's spawn, both of his gold veins are next to each other. Some people will see this as beneficial because it's like, oh, well, it's efficient, right? You don't have to run far. You don't have much idle eco time. Yeah, but you also have a weak point. If MarineLorD moves out here with a few longbowmen and drops an outpost, PuppyPaw is stuck with only tax.
Yeah, but that's a big if right now, because PuppyPaw could scout the farms. And when you see the farms, you know that it's going to be a delayed feudal age from the English player. And we have seen the Muslim, I believe, last week trying to go with this Barbican rush strategy. And it was against MarineLorD. Hang on for a brief moment. It was against MarineLorD's HRE and it worked. And PuppyPaw probably saw those games. He's going up to feudal age with the Imperial Academy. But that's something that the Muslim also did against MarineLorD. So it was Academy first, and then using the tax gold income that you get, you're going to get yourself that very nice Song Dynasty timing with that forward Barbican. Also, because you're in feudal age, while you're moving out with your villagers, you can also get textiles for yourself. So I'm actually interested to see whether he is thinking about that as well. Looks like he actually drops a village right next to that gold mine, though. No signs of him putting up aggression. And is he supervising that mill? No. He has one officer and he's supervising the wood line. Second officer just not popping out.
Yeah, but that's a weird gap to have. Like, you don't see that quite often from Chinese players at all. It's so high value because usually your split is probably about, I'd say, 70% of your people on food. It's so big of a deal for you to be able to just condense your initial Imperial official. So a little bit of a surprising choice out of PuppyPaw. I wonder if it's because he taxed and then returned and then walked through the other side and thought it was a little bit more ideal. But now, looks like he's going to step up the aggression. In the stable, I like this because there are going to be opportunities arising. You can already see that MarineLorD, he's chopping into that wood line and slowly moving out of range. And on top of that, the gold at the backside is still exposed, a detail that PuppyPaw is aware of due to his aggressive scouting. Uh-oh.
There we go.
We've seen
Only
this
3
before.
wheels. This may not be a Barbican.
No, it's outpost. But you can you start outpost, you do Barbican afterwards. But 3 villages, their build speed is insane. By default, 1 villager builds at 45 seconds, but remember the Chinese build structure is quicker, so it doesn't take them that long.
And, oh, the boar pull from MarineLorD, that's a 5-head move though, aggroing the boar. It's actually very nice that the villager only took 1 hit out there. You gotta be careful about the villagers though from the English. Like, MarineLorD is aware of this, so part of the reason why you're also pulling 3 vills is because you want to make sure that the English villagers can't just snipe the 1 villager you have building the tower, but you pointed out that that's a perfect tower spot, and you can punish a slow English feudal age with this really well. Because MarineLorD is yet to reach feudal age, yet to add the first longbowman, and even if he does that, he's already facing 4 horsemen. And honestly, you supervising that lumber camp actually helped quite a lot for PuppyPaw to make sure that he has that stable up with a good timing, because if he were to supervise the food, he would just have more food in the bank, but he wouldn't have the wood for the stable. 1 villager is gonna go down, but don't get deceived by this one. The horsemen are here, so the tower is going up.
And that was the injured villager, so now he's going to build it up. First spearman's going to come out, but he will throw away the horseman to block this, and the build speed should still be good enough. Trying to poke a prod, but you can see the longbowman needs to be targeted here. What, PuppyPaw?
Yeah.
He goes after the villagers instead. So the longbowman is going to be the difference because his attack speed is better than the villagers. And also because PuppyPaw dove, he gave over the attack aura to the English player here, which means he's going to block him out. All 3 villagers go down, and only 60 HP was remaining on the construct.
You really need that longbowman killed, as you said, because the villagers are dangerous, and with this, you killed a couple of villagers, so the overall villager count is 23 to 24, so at least, you know, you sort of compensated for your own losses. But as you pointed out, if you kill that 1 longbowman, it would have been a completely different story, because that tower likely goes up there. Small things can influence games like this one, and now MarineLorD is in a good spot, because this tower rush has failed quite badly here for PuppyPaw.
And PuppyPaw's playing the backup plan. He's building an outpost on the 2nd gold line of MarineLorD instead, the one that's ahead of his base. So he's not willing to fully give up. He did at least get that one up and in, but that's probably going to be the end of it. I don't think you can now commit more villagers just yet, considering that he still hasn't gone Song Dynasty.
Yeah, lack of Song Dynasty haunts him quite a bit over here, especially if you consider the fact that MarineLorD, he's playing this one with a fast castle approach, and now that there is no pressure coming for him, there is no point adding a lot more longbows here. He has enough to pressure, and he can just go castle.
The scout vision. He actually just dodged the scout vision. This could allow him to sneak back in, but I'm wondering where PuppyPaw is going to sneak here. If he goes north, it's bad. He has to go back around south, and this is a very gambly type play. That being said, so far this series, very gambly play and PuppyPaw have gone together very well.
And, it's going to be seen. It's gonna be seen, but the spearmen and longbows are out of position. At least you have the barracks nearby, and you could see the immediate reaction from MarineLorD. He started queuing up some additional spearmen out there. Looks like it's gonna be wood denial, actually, instead of gold denial anymore. I think he's realizing that MarineLorD had enough time to gather the gold he needs for Castle Age, and I think he's right about that one. So it's gonna come down more about the wood control.
Denial.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like TC and keep denial. So like he'll begin to crawl, but this was his mistake before. If PuppyPaw had just put 1 outpost down in the stealth forest and then followed afterwards, he could have like guarded with hand cannon slits. This delayed him. Like the fact that he didn't choose to go with the safer option because he really felt tightly constrained is surprising to me, because the English don't tend to rush on the gold with any of their builds to the extent I think we had to be worried. But Barbican's still going to be there. So he knows he needs to get Song Dynasty. I think he wanted to sneak the Barbican around the backside, but you just can't. Now that you've been spotted, it won't work.
Like, you can't get away with this one against MarineLorD. Now, MarineLorD himself is banking up a lot of resources, and he's sort of caught in between once again, actually very similarly to the game number 1. He has a bunch of resources in the bank, but he can't really use them, or like he can't really field an army with them, or at least he has no desire to do so, but he's also not going into Castle Age with it, and it's buying time for PuppyPaw. Though, that being said, PuppyPaw is being delayed of Song Dynasty, could actually be denied here by the longbows. Maybe a little overly ambitious Barbican here by PuppyPaw.
He really wants some value. He should have put it right next to the outpost, then the hand cannon slits could easily just bait in the longbows when you pull back villages. But now it's like very tight. We've only got 3 villages, 2 of them heavily injured, one of them's going to go down, and well, he's got the archers coming out. This actually might be perfect timing, because if these weren't coming in, you'd have to cancel this and walk away.
Yeah, it's better late than never, but you got the Council Hall nearby, you will have the attack aura, and you see the King's Pass is coming up at the place where those towers originally were. And that is why denying that tower is so big, because now you can place that TC there, and you don't have sufficient amount of archers. You have the attack speed for the longbows, you have the training time on the Council Hall. That's a Barbican denied, and this is looking really grim for PuppyPaw, even more grim than what it was in the previous game.
He's not even denying it. He's like, I'm gonna come back for it later. He's gonna build out post round, more villages being pulled. PuppyPaw knows now that this game is over one way or the other by 20 minutes. He's trying to catch MarineLorD with his hand in the cookie jar, and that's what happens when you go for the King's Pass. When you go for a castle up this quick, even with the early defensive units, the reality of MarineLorD's situation is like he's not well insulated against outpost rushing yet.
And the thing is that investing into siege is one of the biggest investments in the game out there. And if you think about that, you either go for battering rams, for that you need a blacksmith, you need the upgrade, as you see the villagers getting picked off on the Barbican, so Barbican is going to be denied even more. And it looks like PuppyPaw is yet to find out that the King's Palace is there.
Oh my god.
MarineLorD could easily yoink like 5 villager kills here. Oh, here comes the tower.
The bell is ringing. MarineLorD's like, wait, why have I got bell rings? What's going on right now? Let me just garrison inside. Whoopsie.
And it's Song Dynasty.
Hasn't even realized.
There is no Song Dynasty even, so every single villager that you lose is gonna be big. Oh, GG called. Not gonna lie, PuppyPaw has had an insane run in the first 2 weekends of Road to Wololo. He didn't lose a single game, including a game where he completely forgot about the upgrades at the Delhi Sultanate. It's so weird to then see this game and just see, you know, how this completely collapsed for him.
Like, genius or fluke, and then you show a game like this, it's like, okay. I think what happened here is actually that this is very reminiscent of a series we saw from Lucifer in the later stages of Golden League. I think it was the one against Vortex where, I think I think Lucifer won that one. He got to match point in a best of 7, and then he just started doing cheesy throwaway strats until he won.